Well, hey, thanks so much for joining the Theologetics YouTube channel, where we're going to begin a conversation talking about what is the gospel. I wanted to record something like this, especially right after Easter, when we talk about the gospel, where it encompasses the life, death, and resurrection of Jesus. And now we kind of get into the finer details from 2 points of view, where we're going to look from more theological standpoint on Tuesdays and a little bit more closer to the ground on Fridays. But today we're going to begin the conversation with talking about creation. It's really easy to think about creation when you see the world around us, but oftentimes when we talk about the gospel, we talk first about Jesus, and that's great because he really is the center of the story. But to understand why Jesus really matters, why Jesus being Jesus is actually important, we actually need to zoom out. And not just like a little bit, but a lot a bit. We need to zoom way out. In fact, we need the aerial view, the gospel in the air, as some experts will call it. And that starts with one word, as I mentioned, creation. In the beginning, God created. Not out of boredom, not out of loneliness, not because he needed us, but out of overflowing love and glory. Genesis 1 says that in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. He spoke, and galaxies spun into motion. Planets formed, oceans stirred, and mountains rose. And then he made us. Humanity wasn't an afterthought. You and I were made in his image, reflections of his creativity, his intelligence, his relational nature. And this wasn't just the start of the universe, this was the start of a story. One where every element, light, soil, stars, soul, was declared very good. And here's what that tells us. It tells us that we were made on purpose for a purpose. We weren't created to drift, we were created to delight in God, to steward his world, and to live in harmony with him, with others, and with creation itself. It says in Psalm 19 that the heavens declare the glory of God. Creation isn't neutral, it testifies. The stars preach sermons, the oceans hum hymns, and we, as part of this creation, were made to echo the glory of the one who made us. But here's the thing. When we forget the beginning, we distort the rest. If we think we're accidents, life becomes aimless. If we think we're the center, then life becomes prideful. But when we remember creation, we remember that God is the author, the artist, and the anchor. So let me just ask you, when was the last time that you looked up? Maybe it was at a night sky, or maybe it was at a mountain range, or even looked down at a newborn's face, the grass beneath your feet. All of these are invitations to wonder. Not just at what's been made, but who made it. God didn't create to show off. He created to share himself. Creation is the stage for the gospel. It's in the first move that we see God's grand story of redemption. And when we start here, we begin to realize this isn't just about us being saved. It's about God being glorified in all things. So here's how we can apply this concept. First, we worship God as creator, not just savior. We reflect his image in how we create, relate, and cultivate. We steward the world. That means caring for people, the planet, and the culture that you're part of. And most of all, we need to remember that we were made for more than just survival. We were made to reflect his glory. And this is where the gospel begins, with a God who creates a world that reflects him and a people made to know him. And this is the beginning of our conversation as we talk about the gospel. If you want to continue down this path with us as we talk about the gospel from 2 viewpoints, we talked about the beginning of the gospel in the air, and we're going to continue in the next video talking about the first piece of the gospel on the ground and how this all comes together as we talk about the gospel. And in these videos, they are going to be a little bit shorter than some of the others that I have shared and posted as of late, because some of this we can overcomplicate. Some of this we can get into the weeds and in the nitty-gritty, and that is great to talk about these things. But when we get to the gospel, we need to be very clear. We need to be very concise, yet we need to be thorough in our language, in our conversation. And that's why these videos will be a little bit shorter. So if you are interested in following along with this conversation, go ahead and subscribe. You can click the button that's below. Make sure to like the video as well. And if you want to continue a conversation that is more theological in nature, a little bit more academic, that first link in the description below takes you to the Theologetics Substack. I'd love for you to poke around there, see what it's all about. And if you are enjoying reading through what you're poking through, make sure to subscribe. But we will be back next time talking about the gospel on the ground, beginning that conversation, talking about who God is. Thanks so much. See you next time.